Good evening, friends. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time and energy of being here with me this evening. Welcome to this channel. Welcome to this video. My name is Anthony, and I'm a channeler of 6.99 density, Alpha Draconis, race named KALASK. And this evening, I've asked him to speak about ego. And sometimes human beings don't want to talk about that because they know they have a very large ego problem. And I wanted to see what KALASK had to say when they observe us energetically about our egos. Is this a good thing, bad thing? What is it like being egotistical in their own eyes? Is ego in a human a good thing in a way where it's an advantage for us? Or is this a disadvantage? Is this completely destructive? I wanted to see what they wanted to share with us in a way so that all of us can benefit and improve our own daily lives, our behavior, our own thought processing, decision making, anything that has to do with our daily lives, which truly is the most important thing to me, to bring in a consciousness of any extraterrestrials. And I'm connected to other guides, not just KALASK, and I will be bringing them forward across 2025. But I wanted to see what they would tell us, how to improve our own lives, how to expand, how to grow, and how to evolve. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you resonate with some of the things that they have to share with us, and you listen to it with an open mind. And in a few minutes, as soon as I'm done my own integration and exchange consciousness, I will bring forward the consciousness of KALASK. See you shortly. Yes, we are KALASK. We'll speak now about this topic of ego. The topic that so many humans judge so harshly. The topic that so many humans are misguided by. Isn't it true that the term ego is a bad word, evil word, negative word, malevolent word, a word that is labeled as worthless, a word that is even labeled as a threat to human growth, mental growth, emotional growth, spiritual growth, telepathic growth, psychic growth, any growth? Why is it that the human beings say that in order to be highly psychic, in order to raise your vibration, in order to raise your frequency, even though they have absolutely no description of how to raise vibration or frequency, they still say it, that the ego must be uninstalled? Why is it that it is the human belief system that in order to be highly spiritual, to be awakened in the spiritual community, to be awakened in the spiritual industries and the communities and industries of spirituality and channeling and etc. within the Earth's collective, you must uninstall ego? Is this true? Of course it's not true. There's many different misguided tips, advice, and advices that humans have been given along the way within these spiritual communities. And they have a vast amount of different ways of they were explained. They were explained in a variety of different ways. Sometimes they come across as really harsh. Sometimes they come across as really genuine. Sometimes they come across as very sweet and compassionate and caring. But majority of the advice that are lingering in the communities within the spirituality on Earth are very Mickey Mouse, very washy. They're not effective. They're not accurate. They're proposed by individuals that have never faced their deepest fears. They're proposed by individuals that have never jumped into the ocean of their true shadow, the true darkness. They were proposed by individuals that have never dived or snorkeled and then dived so deeply into the abyss of the true darkness of all humans to understand duality must prevail, not just your light. And anyone that speaks against light is always seen as a bad guy. Fine. The light, the dark, all humans have both. Every single human has a spectrum of both that should be worked on, that should be understood, that should be practiced, of course, daily. What can I find balance of duality? What can I find balance of neutrality? Turning off a lot of different weak emotions. It is those emotions that make humans weak, that makes them so weak. It doesn't make you nice. Makes weaknesses come forward, not niceness. Besides, the statement Anthony says often is that your world is not meant for niceness, it's meant for strength. This is quite true. The ego part, why do you see this as a threat? The authors who write fascinating books, did that have the submission and passiveness and the kindness and niceness and removal of ego to just be humble and nice? To write fascinating, award-winning, life-changing books? No. The combat fighters within your sports at Olympics, boxers, UFC combat fighters, men and women that compete daily in sports, from running to swimming, tennis to skiing. They remove all of the ego within their own energy in order to just be humble and nice, kind, sweet and compassionate, caring, yes. No, they didn't. They've turned off the caring, they've turned off the kindness, they've turned off anything that has to do being passive or submissive or just humble. And they've turned on the highest and strongest level on competitiveness, but that competitiveness, something is attributing to competitiveness. It is ego. Ego should never be seen as an enemy of a human race. Ego shouldn't be seen as an enemy to anyone's spiritual path. Ego should never be seen as just some bad contribution that you were given through your own natural development of different energies within you. No. Utilizing healthy dosages, strong dosages of ego while removing any dosages of arrogance and ignorance will make a human extremely competitive. Many terminologies within the Earth's collective say that yes, power of affirmations, power of saying something to the universe, to God, to Source, this will bring upon those realities. Not that quite, but sure, affirmations work. Praying, meditating to your higher self, soul, Source, all that there is, whatever the terminology you desire to use. Soul is the best term, truly. Yes, these things work. The affirmations, desires, visualizations, and sending those visualizations to higher dimensional states, these things work, yes. But is that enough to make you great? Is that enough to make you superior to others? Is that enough to make you supernatural? Is that enough for you to develop large level of psychic abilities? Is this enough? Wishful thinking, is that enough? No, it is not enough. Listen to the largest world speakers of life coaching, largest superstars of athletics and sports, humans that are presently either still in the business or have written autobiography books. They weren't passive in their path to achieve their glory. They weren't submissive, kind, sweet, and compassionate. They were like that toward their family members when they came home after their training regimens, after the competitions, carrying trophies and medals in their hands. Yes, then they turned off the competitiveness. They turned off being savage. They turned off the ego, and they became nice, kind, sweet, caring, loving, all the things that humans do to one another when they have this appreciation for one another of love, unconditional love, and etc. No, what did these superstars do? They became savages, unstoppable trains, destroying everything in their path in front of them, the path. They turned on the largest levels of ego, simply saying that they are the greatest, they are the best, they are unstoppable, they are the smartest, they are the quickest, they are the fastest. They didn't say, well, I will not say that because it sounds egotistical. I will just say that I desire to be a superstar. I desire to be number one. No, they didn't say this nonsense. You'll never be number one if you think that you one day will become number one. No, in your mind, you must convince yourself and every layer within you to simply say you already are the greatest. You already are the best. You already are the wisest and the smartest, the most fastest and the more critical in all things, the most effective and the most efficient. Excluding the ego is just a very weak spiritual advice that humans give to one another. Within the society of reptilians, within the society of draconians, within the society even of our own, we don't exclude ego. Ego is a great thing to be competitive. Not that we need to compete with one another in boxing rings, but it is great to be used towards one another. Simply, we could have a wrestling match, a combat match, a match with our claws and feet and tails to try to beat up on one another and bring upon some pain and suffering, all in the umbrella of simple appreciation of one another. Competition. There's nothing wrong with this. Humans do this with each other still. Boxing competitions and wrestling competitions, gym workouts and lifting things. Who can lift more weights in your fitness facilities? This is a good thing. Of course we place our ego in the front of all things. It is not a fair thing to compare any extraterrestrial society with human society. And we understand it's not a fair, a reasonable, a normal thing to compare any KALASK society, event, tradition, anything that we do within the human. We're explaining it in a way that a human being can understand that a reptilian society, a draconian society, utilizes every strength that they can, whether it is tapping into the consciousness of something, such as something that is living, something that is water-based, something that's a stone or a rock. Hence we prefer stone-related planets and stars. We don't swim in oceans for fun. We can tap into a lot of things. This allows us to re-energize ourselves, to fill ourselves up with energy, yes? But it is the ego we always keep forward, not because we're egotistical, not because we're high ourselves, not because we have some chip on our shoulders, not because we think we're greater than someone else. No, we've earned everything within our own society and as a collective to be very fluent and fair in saying we've reached a level of military greatness, of intellect, strongest mental power. And a lot of races that dislike us, which is fine, they can still say, yes, we respect KALASK simply because they speak the truth. Ego is a great thing. Ego we would always recommend. To human race, to humanoid race, to any race. But within the human collective, the spiritual teachers mainly are focusing only on promoting the love-light aspect. Love light will take you to 1 degree, yes. And you can place your hands on your chest over your heart to look as angelic as you want to be in pictures and renderings and in videos, sure. You can promote self-love all you want, sure, yes, fine. Removal of ego will not help you. Adding to the mix strong levels of ego, removing pretentiousness would be something as a good thing, as you use mixers to mix your fruits and milkshakes. Removing any forms of expectations, any forms of disrespect or arrogance or ignorance, but placing strongest levels of confidence, assertiveness, and willpower. With ego, ultimate goal to success. Be a savage in life and stop asking for permissions, especially from those that tell you that you must remove your ego to be spiritual and accepted. Make your own path. That is all. Welcome, friends. I welcome you back to this transmission in relation to ego. Hope you've enjoyed some of the things that KALASK had to say. Hope you resonate with some of the things. I welcome all of your comments, messages, and emails, including suggestions of what would you want me to channel. For more information on who I am, you can visit my website at www.kalask.ca. You can pre-order your book there, which will be released in just a few months. Or you can send a simple email to my team, to the admin. It'll be eventually forwarded to me. The serious inquiries are always welcome. That can be sent to info@kalask.ca. Otherwise, I greet you all in strength and honor. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time and energy. Thank you and good night.